In this video, I want to share 3 potentially harmful habits for ADHD. So number 1 is skipping breakfast. And a lot of us with ADHD are definitely guilty of this, and I have been in the past for sure, and I've had to make this a habit of consuming breakfast. So why is skipping breakfast potentially harmful in ADHD? There are several different reasons for this. So number 1 is going to be blood sugar balance. When we skip breakfast, our blood sugar levels can get dysregulated, which can exacerbate hyperactivity, anxiety, restlessness, and difficulty focusing. So regulating blood sugar levels is a key component of managing ADHD, and this is why I'll always advocate for consuming breakfast in those with ADHD. And so the type of breakfast really does matter. And something high in protein, healthy fats, and fiber all help to regulate and balance blood sugar levels and stabilize those blood sugar levels over a longer period of time so that we're able to focus better, we're able to concentrate, our mood is better, and we're just able to function at a better level. Skipping breakfast also has hormonal consequences. So when we skip breakfast and are not eating, we're fasting essentially, our body is producing cortisol in order to bring up our blood sugar levels. So cortisol is what the body produces in order to free up and increase the body's blood sugar levels. So that's good when we're fasting, when we're in our survival mode. The body needs to produce glucose in order for the brain to function well. But this does have unintended consequences though, especially for those with ADHD. So this increase in cortisol can ramp up the sympathetic or fight or flight nervous system, and which can exacerbate hyperactivity and anxiety. So overall, incorporating a healthy breakfast is a very good habit to implement if you have ADHD. The second potentially harmful habit for ADHD is over-caffeinating. So a lot of people will consume caffeine in order to bring up their energy levels. Caffeine can also increase dopamine somewhat. And so people will often, number 1, going back to my previous point, will skip breakfast and then they will compensate by caffeinating. And so this can be harmful for several different reasons. So number 1 is that it's increasing the body's fight or flight or sympathetic nervous system activity. And so in ADHD, this can, and in other people without ADHD, this can exacerbate feelings of anxiety, feelings of restlessness, and inability to concentrate. So there's definitely a fine line in the amount of caffeine that a person can handle. This also has to do with their genetic predispositions and their genetic mutations regarding caffeine, how fast they're metabolizing caffeine, and how fast they process catecholamines like epinephrine and norepinephrine. So there's some genetic mutations that I'll often test for in patients like COMT and MAO, which have to do with how the body breaks down those catecholamines. So if we're over caffeinating, and especially if we have those genetic variations, we're not able to break down that sympathetic response from the body, then that's definitely going to or can exacerbate that feeling of anxiety or restlessness or that kind of just wired feeling. So you'll have to experiment with how much caffeine is the right amount for you. For most people, it's anywhere from 0 up to 100 or even 200 milligrams of caffeine per day, I would say, as a maximum. So that's usually about 1 or 2 cups of coffee max. It's also important to cycle caffeine if you are using it so that the brain doesn't become desensitized to it. Because over time, if we're consuming caffeine on a regular basis, our receptors do become somewhat desensitized and we require more and more caffeine for the same effect. The third potentially harmful habit in ADHD is the habit of not exercising. So a sedentary lifestyle is definitely a poor habit if you do have ADHD. Exercise is one of the best things that you can do, regardless if you have ADHD or not, but especially for those that have ADHD due to its effects on the brain and on neurotransmitters like dopamine, which is often deficient in those with ADHD. this is a very important habit to implement in your daily routine. I'll tend to work out once a day, at least once a day. Try to do something, at least walking if I can't get to the gym, jumping rope, hopping on the stationary bike, swimming. Doing some sort of activity is really beneficial in ADHD. And one of the best times to do this is actually in the morning, because that's a time where we can get it done, essentially. So during the day, things come up just notoriously. And so that's one of the things that you can do, is just by getting it done in the morning, you're ensuring that that habit gets taken care of, and it will also set you up for the rest of the day in a much better mental state. So for me, I personally feel much better energy levels when I exercise. Much better mood. I feel more productive if I've exercised right in the morning soon after waking up. A lot of us with ADHD also experience anxiety, and exercise is one of the best habits to implement in order to reduce those feelings. That can help to just de-stress us and reduce those feelings of restlessness and anxiety, which can get in the way of focusing and being productive. If you found value in this video, follow me and stick around for more videos like this.